Welcome to the Darkest Heresy podcast, which we'll be putting together. This is a pen and paper roleplay done over Skype. There is one GM, that is me, Ben, and we have 3 players. They are Nick, Chris, and Gary, and we'll meet them in a minute. This session is called The Darkest Heresy, Descent of Malfi, and this is the introduction. The Tyrantine Cabal. You are acolytes of the Tyrantine Cabal, one of the most powerful organisations in the Inquisition. Tyrantines are based in the Bastion Serpentis, a bleak fortress of age-polished black stone. The Bastion is a well-kept secret of the Inquisition and is located on one of Scintilla's moons, Lachesis. As such, your order has close ties to the Tricorn. The Tricorn is the inquisitorial palace and seat of the Inquisition in the Calixis sector. The leader of your cabal is Lord Inquisitor Anton Zerb. He is known for being even-handed, baleful, and implacable. The Cabal's members also include several other powerful inquisitors. The Cabal focuses its attentions on the Hereticus Tenebrae. This heresy of shadows concerns the appearance of the tyrant star Comus and its effect on a planet's population. The Lord Inquisitor believes that the chaos caused by Comus could bring about the downfall of the Calixis sector and perhaps the entire Imperium. You are headed to Malfi. Malfi is a border hive world of the Calixis sector. It has the second largest population in Calixis. It takes ships roughly 800 days to travel between Scintilla and Malfi. It has been scrutinised by the Inquisition for some time, as it is seen as a hotbed for heresy. Its population reached 23 billion recently. These citizens are spread across the surface of the hive world in 23 separate gargantuan hives. They are named for the order in which they were built. The High Gothic is, in order, Primus Secundus Tertius Quartus. You get the idea. All the way up to Vicimus Tertius. Each hive is home to 1 billion people or thereabouts, and self-administered by the Adeptus Administratum up to a point. That point is the Eminence Gladys Matriarch. Her home is Primus, where the myriad of noble families vie for her attentions. Malfi is home to various heresies, the most notable of which is the Masked, a debauched and implacable cult that has spread to other systems. There is an alarming amount of Malfian nobility involved in the movement, who see it as the logical continuation of their Machiavellian lifestyle. The members are known for wearing vile masks that ape those worn by Malfian high society members. It has proved difficult to infiltrate the cult. Those reports that do come back indicate that the cultists have no interest in the destruction of the Imperium, their rites being self-enclosed and orgiastic. The conversion rate of inquisitorial acolytes to the Masked, some years after their contact with the cult, is disconcertingly high. Some inquisitors dismiss this cult as relatively harmless. Others believe that if it ever became motivated, it could prove calamitous for the Imperium. Your mission. It is the year 812 M41. Your Inquisitor is Lord Inquisitor Anton Zerb, whose terrifying golden mask you have yet to avert your gaze from. You have been to the Bastion Serpentis once before, upon recruitment. You have spent the last 3 months living on Scintilla, awaiting your first assignment from the Tyrantine Cabal. Now, as you walk through the high halls of Blackstone, you feel sustained by the might of your righteous persecution you will use to strike at the foes of the Imperium. As you enter the Justus Congregatorium, a sea of acolytes twist in their seats to stare at you. Each one assesses you, judges you, and summarises you. Gradually, their attention returns to the empty podium. You take your seat and contribute your share to the laden silence. You are amongst the last to arrive, and the briefing soon begins. A personal aide to the Lord Inquisitor enters the room and walks unhurriedly to stand behind the austere podium. You recognise him as your recruiter. His name is Acolyte Vox. He is tall and pale, and part of his skull, including his left eye, looks to have been burnt away by some manner of energy weapon. Over the next 30 minutes he describes what he says will be the largest mobilisation of the inquisitorial forces that the Tyrantine Cabal has ever enacted. You, along with the 100 other neophytes and acolytes in the room, are being sent to Malfi. You will root out and purge the population of any traces of the Hereticus Tenebrae. Portents of the Tyrant Star's arrival have been seen and confirmed on Malfi. It is virtually impossible to predict Comus's arrival, but the Lord Inquisitor intends that his Tyrantines will be present when it does. You will be the first wave of an inquisitorial effort to maintain the stability of Malfi by defending it against what is sure to be a rise in heretical anomalies. Vox assures you that if you fail, then the Tyrantine Cabal will have failed, and the Cabal does not fail. For if it did, the sector will be brought to its knees by the forces of chaos. Your task is to infiltrate Malfi and lay the groundwork for the second wave of inquisitorial squads that the Cabal is amassing. You will identify heretical groups without drawing attention to yourself, and make sure of your evidence. For when the second wave arrives, it will not be a quiet arrival. It will be a bloody statement of intent that the Tyrantine Cabal will not stand idly by as heresy grows unchecked in the second largest hive world of the Calixis sector. You have less than a month to complete your task before the second wave will arrive. He tells you that there is a district inquisitorial office on the planet. They have not been informed of your arrival and should not be contacted upon arrival. The Cabal acts alone in this. You would do well to avoid the district inquisitor's attention. Vox now reads out names in groups of 3 to 5 and then tells them which vessel to report to and which hive they will be investigating. You are named in the last group along with two other acolytes. You will be investigating the capital, Primus. You and your companions board the shuttle and return to Scintilla. There you chart a passage to Malfi by way of the cargo hulk Magnus. The journey to the border world takes 740 days. You arrive early in the year 214 M41, though your travel through the Immaterium felt like it took only months. Looking through a viewing hatch, you stare down upon the supercontinental hives that sprawl over Malfi's surface. Light sears the dark side of the planet. It blazes with industry and flickers with heresy. Right, so, Nick, you are playing as Vladimir Molotov.
I am.
Do you want to give us a quick little description? Physical description?
Vladimir is your typical Vostroyan. He is tall, broad, dark-haired, and heavily mustachioed.
Excellent. Okay, Gary, you are playing as Romulus, I believe?
Romulus Draco.
Romulus Draco. Okay, and what does he look like?
He is a very unkempt man. He has, like, patchy stubble with specks of grey coming through. His head's the same. Like, normally it would be like a shaved crop, but he doesn't take care to keep it fully shaved, so just stubble coming through there. He has a scar running up his chin, through his mouth, and to the side, and is healed badly, and has left him with a permanent scowl. It's quite fresh, those scars as well, if anyone has any judgment of that. He's starting to sag a bit around the middle and a bit pudgy from the alcohol, but there's a solid core underneath it from the years of being in Arbite and also the training of an acolyte. Conversely to the man, though, all of his equipment is kept pristine.
Ah, okay. And Chris, you are playing as Keller.
Yes, that's right. So Keller is... She's like a hard-bitten, pretty unpleasant-looking... there's not. She's not a savage looking in that sense. So she's tall, long-limbed, dirty hair, which is technically white, but not really because it's dirty, with a big braid coming down the back. But she looks every inch the uncomplicated warrior that she is. She exudes that kind of sense of palpable hostility.
Okay, my sort of mental image is of like a grimdark Amazonian with white hair. Is that
kind of? Yeah, that's pretty much right. She's got the kind of typical flat features of if you think of the kind of Inuit people.
Okay.
That kind of facial appearance, but she's tall. She routinely wears furs when possible, which smell pretty unpleasant.
Okay. And you are all members of the Cabal that was formed by Lord Inquisitor Anton Zerb. And it's a Cabal dedicated to the study and eradication of the heresies which come about when the tyrant star Comus is sighted about a planet. To that end, you have spent 2 years, standard time, in the warp, travelling to the far reaches of the sector. It has felt, because of time dilation, it's felt very, very short for you. It's maybe 2-3 months. You've got to know each other reasonably well. Some of you are slightly more close-mouthed than others. And you have arrived in orbit of the hive world Malfi. Malfi has... it's more like hive continents. It's quite a small planet, but it has 23 billion as its population. And as you look down, you can't see any kind of geography because the entire thing is shrouded in a sort of like toxic fog. Right, you are on the ship Magnus, which is an Imperial freighter, which was actually transporting some stuff to Malfi anyway. As acolytes, you were sort of tasked to keep your profile quite low. So whilst aboard the Magnus, you have kept your identity as inquisitorial acolytes secret. However, the Magnus captain, a man named Ulfric Salfar, has been already made aware of your mission, as he is he's a man that is often used for this kind of job, for ferrying acolytes under the guise of doing something else. And he has, before you entered the shuttle to go down to the planet, he has vouchsafed his apartment key to you. This key will give you full access to his abode on Malfi, which he keeps as a sort of base for when he has to do stuff on the planet. You descend in the shuttle, and you can kind of feel the judder as you go through the various strata. Inside, it looks quite like a cargo hold of a modern day freighter. So you've got kind of like baggage nets and boxes, big sort of like 3 feet by 3 feet boxes, stacked high. There's limited space for passengers. There's 4 seats in the actual cargo hold, and then of course there's 2 pilots up front. There is your seats are set sort of about 10-20 feet further back into the cargo hold from where the pilots are, and the 4th person sat at these seats is the overseer of the Magnus's cargo exchange. His name, I believe, is Desant. Desant insisted on having and sitting as far away from the window as possible, like the sort of quite small porthole type window, as he dislikes flying. Which means that at least 2 of you are sat by the window. Who doesn't have the window seat? Just so I know in my head.
Probably me.
Okay, is that because of your aversion to the sky?
Not particularly. It's probably because I don't give a shit about looking out the window.
Okay, right, I get you. So what? This journey is this part of the journey is sort of it takes a while to get down there. Would you be sort of conversing? Would you be staring out at the scenery? What kind of things would you be doing, guys?
Is it a bumpy ride?
It gets bumpy in parts. Yeah.
So I think my character will be. Yes! What a fucking ride, boys!
Didn't expect you to like flying.
Oh, this brings me back. Fucking hell, yes. That's like riding the fucking Nega Man.
There is no need for firewater with journeys such as this. I feel sick to my stomach already.
There's always a need for firewater, Vladimir.
Oh, grow up, grow up. You little bastards.
I feel I may get vomits in my mustaches.
Oh, that's not very nice.
Right. The shuttle levels out just above the toxic levels, the toxic fog that I mentioned previously, and begins sort of skimming across the top of it. It's sort of like Cloud, if Cloud was a sort of a noxious blue colour. It's about as far from cerulean as you can get. Very unpleasant to look at. However, the sun does glint off it, and in the distance, because of the arc of the ship's travel, you can see the hive city of Primus, your destination, not too far away. And as you watch, a second craft pulls alongside. It is a guard Valkyrie. Your pilot shouts back that your escort has arrived, and would anyone like to do anything at this point?
You have been in one of those bad boys, Vladimir?
Oh, da. I am much preferring to have been on the ground, but you must fly to battlefield, of course. Excusing me. I find best way to be getting in is to be diving with great big parachute on back and falling behinding of enemy lines. That way you can have your boys preparing the last cannons and making big hole in back of enemy defense.
Descent looks ready to throw up at this comment. He appears to have a fairly weak stomach.
Of course, I am telling none of this. All very, very highly guarded tactical secrets.
I don't think coming up behind the enemy and stabbing in the back is a tactical secret.
It works well for you, does it not?
Well, yeah, but it's not really a secret. Oh, I slapped Descent on the back at this point.
He throws up in his mouth. He's a fairly pudgy, white-faced man. You're not sure whether he was always white-faced or that's just the ride with you three.
Stepping in the back, Jimmy wasn't much. Must be nice not have to follow due process.
It actually outlined very clearly in the handbook about to be stabbing in front or back with a bayonet is why attached to a lasgun.
The shuttle and the Valkyrie dip beneath the cloud, completely obscuring your view, and the ride gets significantly bumpier. It's a fairly pitched dive through the cloud, and it takes what feels like seconds, but it's probably in reality minutes, before you break through to a slightly less dense fog, and you can see toxic wastes spreading out around you, with various pipelines and huge lakes of green smoking liquid. It's really quite apocalyptic stuff down here, and those of you with keen eyes might even spot figures moving around in this toxic waste.
Is that a cue for an awareness test?
No, it's anyone next to the.
Okay.
Anyone next to the portholes will be able to see this. I mean, you're all reasonably perceptive as far as I'm aware.
Yep.
So, the pilots call that the ETA is close to 15 minutes, when there is a high-pitched beeping noise, which emits from the cockpit, and they slam the doors closed between the pilot's area and the cargo hold, which I don't think any of you have been in this kind of situation before, but it's sort of standard procedure for when you're under attack is to separate the areas and lock them down. And a few seconds later, there is a huge impact on the I don't know my starboards and stuff like that, so it's on the right side of the ship.
That's the starboard.
Yay! There we go. On the starboard side of this shuttle, there is a huge impact, and you all see the dent as something hits into the side of the shuttle, and then there is a huge explosion. The shuttle goes into a spiral and a spin, and you are all put under immense pressure as this high-speed sort of box whizzes around a few hundred feet up in the air. The pilots have no control. Can we get some toughness checks, please?
Oh, 83.
I also got 5 degrees of failure.
I got 7.
7. Okay. Yeah. So for future reference, because we're playing Dark Heresy, you've got to roll under this number, and if you don't roll under or hit it, for every 10 above, that's a degree of failure. On most checks, that comes into play. So if you fail, can you sort of say your degrees of success or failure? Oh, sorry. If you succeed, say your degrees of success. If you fail, say your degrees of failure. Just so then I can work stuff out quite quickly.
Okay. So difference of 23 would give me 2 degrees of success, right?
2 degrees. Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Perfect. And did you get 5 degrees of failure as well, Nick?
4.
4. Okay. So Keller and Vladimir, you pass out from the immense pressure, and Romulus, you jut out your iron jaw and try and keep your eyes open, but it proves a near impossible task. There is a brief moment of silence before the shuttle crashes into the toxic waste. With this impact, Romulus, you're still the only one actually sort of even close to being conscious at this point. The cargo boxes bust through their netting. They were being sort of like rolled around like dice in a bag, but now they actually bust through, and they come crashing down towards the 4 of you. There is, with your kind of multi-point harness, there is literally nothing any of you can do to get out of the way of this, and they crash down around you like boulders. There is a long moment of calm as things come to a rest, and you hear the beeping slowly whine out in the pilot's cockpit. The 2 of you that passed out now awaken.
Oh, fuck. Yes, that was even better. Can we do that again?
Can anybody get this off of my face?
That's your moustache, you bastard.
You are a funny one.
There is the boxes have fallen quite favourably for you, and actually kind of left you a reasonable amount of room. You're all on your side rather than being the normal way up, and Descent is the only one in trouble. He appeared to have been flailing his arms quite a lot during the crash, and had sort of gotten out of his harness for some reason, and one of his arms has become trapped out of sight of him, and he is still unconscious at this point. So if you imagine like several boxes have slammed down around his arm.
Is it possible to unlock the restraint harnesses?
Yes. You all have enough room to.
Okay, so I leaving myself out of the chair, I'd go over to him. To Desant, sorry.
Yep. As you do this, he begins to sort of groggily stir.
I slap him around the face a bit.
It itches. It itches.
Oh, not more of this crap. So I have a look. Is his arm trapped / destroyed under the boxes?
Yeah. It's quite firmly trapped. It's not destroyed.
Okay.
Can you all roll perception checks for me, please?
What are they? Just standard, or are they?
We'll go with just testing perception.
4 degrees of failure.
2 degrees of failure.
2 degrees of success.
Keller, you hear the noise of things moving around outside of the sort of protective barricade of the boxes, and also the sound of like quite sort of wet gnawing sounds.
Okay. I wave at the other two and point in the direction of where I think the noises are coming from, and start unlimbering my spear.
Okay. The rest of you, what are your sort of ready actions?
Pull both weapons.
I assume you're all getting out of your harnesses as well.
So
Yeah.
I'll get out of my harness and draw the sword and the las pistol.
Excellent. Okay. Dawson has gone, if possible, even whiter. He's gone almost sort of translucent, and he is now blubbering. And the blubberings abruptly stop, and he's kind of like his back straightens, and then he begins screaming. And through it, you hear, "He's eating my hand!"
Okay.
I'd like to. If you'd like to, you may take your action first. Go.
Yeah, so I was just thinking. Is it possible for me to literally kick the box that's on his arm off his arm?
These things are quite hefty, and you're not really sure what they weigh. So you can attempt to kick, but like if you're going to really like put loads of force behind it, you might well hurt your leg depending on what's going on. It's probably a group effort to move even one of these things.
Okay. Can't see anything else. Is it possible for me to kind of slide over the boxes?
I think at this point we're actually going to go into structured time, just to save time, funnily enough. So can you all roll your initiatives? I believe. Chris, can you remind me how initiative works in this system?
D10 plus agility bonus.
Right, and the agility bonus is the first digit of your agility score,
Yes.
right?
So, yeah.
13. Got my max, yay.
13.
Yeah, 7 for me.
Okay. Romulus, you act first.
Oh, did Nick not? What was next? I didn't hear that.
8.
8.
8, okay. Is there any way out without moving the boxes, or do we have to get the boxes out of the way first?
You are kind of like iglooed in by boxes.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go get a shoulder to the one nearest, like the one that's pinning him, and get ready to push.
Okay. So that's a move action, and then some sort of priming action.
Kind of like assist action, I suppose, to whoever next pushes it.
Well, we'll treat it as sort of like an aimed push, so you'll get a +10 to your check.
Okay.
Next round, next turn even. Vladimir.
I'm going to drop down to be near the trapped arm.
Do you have any qualms about the losing of the arm? I mean, it's on its way out anyway, and I have a sword.
Okay.
Any response from him?
He
Yes,
is screaming, "My hand, my hand, my hand."
I will take this as maybe later. Romulus, prepare your biceps.
I'm going to get down next to Romulus and flex it out, ready to push.
Ready to push? Okay. And finally, Keller.
I'm going to ram my shoulder into the thing and assist.
Okay. So, I assume who has the highest strength here, please?
Won't be me, I wouldn't have thought.
Mine's 31.
Mine is also 31.
36.
There we go. All right, Keller, if you make this strength check with an extra plus 20 from each of your companions helping you. So you're testing, trying to get below 56, sorry.
Yep, and that's just a success. No degrees, just a success.
It depends. If you roll it, we can find out how well you did.
Oh yeah, no, as in I got 48, so it's just.
Sorry.
Just a pass. There's no degrees of success.
Yes, that's fine. A pass in Dark Heresy is still something to shout about, I think. Right, okay. Keller, you slam your shoulder forwards, and the cargo box in question pops out to sort of reveal like a sort of Minecraft window type scenario. There is a horrible wrenching noise on the Descent's arm, and the other boxes kind of shift a bit when you do this, but they hold firm. There is now a 3 foot by 3 foot square hole out, and on the other side you see 4 mutants feasting on Descent's arm and the remains of the pilots. Can you all take fear checks, please?
How will we take a fear check? So
It's
that I know.
willpower, isn't it? Yeah.
It's a willpower check. It is it's a fear 1 check. So it's a plus 0, so it's a normal check.
Yeah.
That is a success with no degrees.
Same for me.
Hang on, I need to check. I think my divination does something to fear checks. Sorry, I'm just searching the rulebook.
That's okay. So just to put this in perspective, whilst Romulus is doing that, so there's 4 levels of fear. This site that you've just seen is the first level, which is termed as disturbing. The 3 levels up from that are frightening, horrifying, and terrifying.
What's your divination, Gary?
Trust in your fear. Perception increased by 5. No, I just forgot what it did. Okay, I'm ready to go then.
Okay, test away.
I'm not good at this. Oh dear. That is 1 off being 5, so 4 degrees of failure.
4 degrees of failure. Please roll a D100 for me.
A D100, yeah, okay.
As you've gone into shock.
4.
A 4?
Yeah.
As in 04.
004, yes.
Oh, okay, excellent. And then we plus 40 to that because of your degrees of failure.
Right, so 44.
Reeling with shock, the character backs away from the source of his fear. He cannot willingly approach the object of his fear, but can otherwise act normally, with a minus 10 penalty on all tests until the end of the encounter.
Okay.
You suck.
So,
Fine, I've got a gun.
can you describe your face as you back away? This iron-jawed Adeptus Arbiters.
If possible, scowling even harder.
Whilst crawling away like a scared cat.
Pretty much. Just, it looks like my mouth is trying to escape from the confines of my chin.
That's a disturbing image.
And I believe it's possible for you to incur insanity points here. I just need to find how that actually happens.
Oh, good.
Sorry, I did look this up beforehand, but I've completely forgotten how it works. So you go into shock. Broad idea. Oh, what the hell? It's actually just not here. Right, I tell you what. Just roll a d5 for me, please, Gary.
7.
That would give you a 3, would it? On a d5?
7 is a 4.
Yes, 4. No, it's a 3.
No, it's 4.
No, he's right. It's a 4. Okay, incur 4 insanity points, please.
Okay.
just so you know what this does, for every 10 insanity points you get, you then have to roll for mental trauma.
Mental disorders. Okay.
No, trauma.
Trauma. Oh, okay.
And then when you hit... So that happens at every 10. And then when you hit 40, you get your first disorder.
Right.
But various bad things can happen to you even by just having a little bit of insanity.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the fear and insanity rules tested. Okay, so where are we in terms of the initiative? I believe we're back round. Romulus, having backed away, what is your action?
I will drag the quivering wreck of a civilian out of the way.
Okay, he is not well.
Yeah.
He's sort of missing the arm from about halfway from through the forearm, sort of half his forearm and all of his hand, obviously, which is currently being sort of torn apart by the hungry mutants. Vladimir.
In the name of him on earth, for the Emperor! I will fire my las pistol through the gap at a mutant.
Go for it.
No, it's a failure with no degrees.
Failure with no degrees.
So, 35 on a BS of 31.
You get +10 on just a single a basic attack. It's counted as being simple.
The man is right.
In that case, it is a success.
Okay. Can you tell me your damage, please? Your damage.
Damage for pistol de las is...
It's 1d10 +2, I think.
Yes, I believe so. Trying to scroll onto my second page. It's not having it. Yes. 1d10 +2 energy damage.
1d10 +2 energy damage, okay.
So that is 5.
5. These things have no armour. You take the armour plus toughness off the damage, don't you?
Yes, you do.
So that's 3 off it, so it's 2 damage to this thing. Oh, what was the attack roll, sorry, that you got? Unmodified.
Unmodified, 34.
34. Then that means that was a body hit. Okay. You fire a single shot from your las pistol into the center mass of the mutant that is currently sort of, it's got the kind of the index finger and the thumb and a bit of the palm in its mouth, kind of groping out. It's a bit weird.
Gross.
That's mutant 1 down 2. Where on earth is their health? How do you figure out health, guys?
It's their starting wounds, or whatever that is. I can't quite remember how it is from NPCs, but
For us, it's based on our class. So.
yeah.
Yeah, it's very strange. I can't see any.
So it's usually something like 7 plus 1d5 or something.
Okay. All right, we'll treat them as having 7. Okay. And that is your turn, I believe, Vladimir. Killer.
Okay, so I'm standing in front of this hole.
Yep.
Are they within spear reach, or will I need to go through the hole to get into combat with them?
No. It's a fairly long spear, isn't it? It's not a diddy spear.
Yeah, it's the height of a person, pretty much.
Yeah. No. You can jab through this gap.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to try and do a swift attack then, which is the thing I described, which is at +0 instead of +10.
Okay.
But
every degree of success gives you extra damage die.
Every 2 degrees of success.
Every 2.
So I get 24, which is 2 degrees of success.
Okay.
So I get 2 damage dice on this.
Are they reduced individually?
Yes. Yes, I'll give you the overall damage individually.
Okay.
So the first one is... Can Chris roll his dice properly? 6 pen 2.
6 pen 2. Okay.
Oh, and the second one is Righteous Fury. Do I confirm? I do not confirm. So the second one is 13 pen 2.
Okay. And what was the attack roll, please?
24.
24. Which puts it on the left arm, I believe.
Spear through the arm. Ouch.
Yeah. I think it's sort of like a 30-degree angle to you. So you pierce through its arm, and get a substantial part of the body as well, and twist the grip in your hand and wrench it out. Sort of odd, sort of not horrible blood pours out, and the beast collapses. The other mutants roar and scrabble towards the hole. They are quite stupid. So they go shoulder to shoulder and like clawing at each other, and at the gap in the boxes. These kind of like mutated hands to have talons are sort of they're well clear of your faces, is what I'm trying to say. They're kind of scrabbling at you, but not getting at you because they aren't doing it smart. They haven't got ranged weapons, and they aren't going one at a time. And the 3 remaining mutants are squished into that small space.
Okay, so they are done.
Romulus.
I'm going to aim, because I'm very aware that misfiring a solid projectile in a big steel box is probably not the best idea.
Okay, so just to calculate your modifiers before you roll...
I'm just aiming, that's all.
Oh, you're not shooting as well?
You can only aim, you can't aim and shoot in the same turn, I don't think.
Isn't one a half action?
Is aim a half action?
Let's have a look.
Aim is a half action.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'll aim and shoot then. So,
Okay.
cancelling out the -10 from my fear
Yes, and there is an additional +10 from...
for being a basic attack.
Yeah. I don't know what it's like in this game, but in the previous game there was also ranged stuff. So if they're like close range, it was +10, things like that, but I'm not sure exactly.
There is that kind of stuff in this. I'm going to give you an extra +20 anyway, which is sort of... It's got its range already included in that, in the fact that they are just...
Close and stuck, yeah.
Yeah.
So I've got +20, putting it to 54, +10 from it being simple, putting it to 64, and then
-10.
+10 from aiming, and the -10 from fear cancel out. So I've got to beat 60. I've got to get under 64.
Yep.
Cool. I get 20, so 4 degrees of success.
20.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you roll damage for me, please?
Yes. What the degrees do to attacks?
I'm not sure they do anything, do they, Chris?
Sorry?
Degrees on attacks, unless you've got a...
No, unless you've got a specific ability, which is like spend a fate point to add the degrees of success to the damage.
Okay. Cool.
And there are combat actions like power attack, which...
Yeah, things like if you're full autoing and things, the extra degrees of success give more hits and things like that. But if you're just doing a single shot,
Right. Okay.
with a thing, it doesn't really do it. It doesn't do anything else.
Fair enough. 14 damage.
14 damage. Any pen on that?
Pen 2. Did you get anything for rolling like maximum, for rolling a 10 on a damage roll?
Yeah, what you get is Righteous Fury, so you re-roll your attempt to hit. If you succeed, you get another damage roll, and it kind of adds on to the damage.
And it's the same difficulty as the first attack?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't see why not.
Yeah, okay. No, I do not confirm.
Okay.
So yeah, just the 14 with pen 2.
And that keeps going, by the way, so if you keep rolling 10, 10, 10, 10, it keeps happening.
Yeah,
Hence the legend of Grundle. Right, you blow this thing's right arm off, like clean off, and it falls backwards with a yelp. There are now two scrabbling through the gap. There is definitely enough space for them to kind of like try and get through now, whereas 3 was impossible to get through. 2, they might kind of like get halfway through and then get stuck. Vladimir.
I'm going to use my ambidexterity to use both of my weapons, which means I don't get a negative modifier to use both of them in one round.
Okay.
So have you got 2 weapon wielder and ambidexterity?
Yes, because
Cool.
I have a las pistol
I only took
and
the 1. I'm saving up for ambidexterity.
So you took both talents. You took both 2 weapon wielder and ambidextrous.
I believe so. Let me double check.
That's expensive.
not.
Wow. I was thinking because it's like at least a minimum of like 300 something XP to get 2-weapon wielder.
I suppose...
No, I didn't have it.
Okay. So ambidextrous allows you to attack with either weapon without penalty, but attacking with both weapons at the same time will incur, I think, a -40. And then if you had 2-weapon wielder, that would go down to a -20.
Okay. Well,
So-
I'm just going to shoot with my las pistol.
Okay.
As well, aim and shoot.
Oh, I think I've got this backwards on my chart. I thought it was 2-weapon wielder that did the one, and then ambidextrous just reduced the penalty. Do you mind if I just change the wording on that, Ben?
Yeah, I mean, if you could afford to buy either, then yeah, of course you can take ambidextrous.
So what am I aiming for?
So you are getting a +10 for your standard attack, a +10 for your aim, and then a +20 for a situational modifier because they're stuck in boxes. So it's a +40 to your roll, to your threshold. Sorry.
I failed. By 1.
Holy shit! Really?
Yeah, 72.
Oh man, you fire through the one chink of light left by the departing third mutant.
Allow not the heretic to live for a bit longer.
Killer.
Okay, so these two things are in my faces, pretty much, aren't they?
Pretty much, yeah.
My faces. I have multiple faces.
Your many faces. The many faces of Killer.
Okay. So I'm gonna spit in their faces and drive my spear up into another one of them. So that'll be another swift attack attempt.
Okay.
Am I also getting that +20?
You are indeed. Because they're all kinds of bunched up and...
So that's 40... So that's 65. So that's 2 degrees of success again. 40 on the attack roll for reference for your damage location.
40 is, I believe, center mass. Yes, it is.
Oh, it's another 10. Fucking hell. I'm wasting these righteous furies on these mutants.
Righteous fury against these mutants.
Confirm it this time.
Mutants?
So 16. So
yeah,
that's
they are mutants.
That's 19 pen 2.
Okay. You turn this thing into a kebab. But they're kind of... Mutant flesh is quite pliable, so when your spear goes through and punches out the back, it also pushes most of its spine out of its back, and its organs fall out of its back. The last remaining mutant is now unhindered to scrabble through. He or she, you can't really tell. It's that kind of odd and grotesque and pink. Scrabbles through this gap with obviously inhuman speed, and is going to attempt an attack on Keller, I believe, because you were the only one within melee.
Yeah, I'll be right next to it. Yes.
So Keller, so I'm going to roll the attack. Remember, everyone, that you get one reaction a round. So with that reaction, that's your defense. That's your one way of defending. So that can either be dodge or parry or whatever. This is a melee attack, so I believe you can dodge a melee attack or parry it.
Yep.
So anyway, this thing is going to attempt a swipe at you. Let's see how it rolls. 96. No. Holy shit! That thing missed.
I dodge effortlessly and laugh at it.
Yeah. So I believe the way that attacking with reactions works is they have to successfully attack and then you deploy your reaction.
By dodge effortlessly, I mean I watch its attack sail past me.
Yep.
And laugh at it.
It is now within extremely close confines with you all, because you know that kind of small space you were in? It's now in that space with you, and it's a bit of a dervish. So all ranged weapons are going to start taking a penalty now. Simply because you won't really be able to tell what you're aiming at. So if you don't care, you can still pull the trigger, but there will be consequences.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're back around to the top of the initiative, which is Romulus.
I'm gonna bash it with my shock maul.
You're gonna bash it with your shock maul. Okay.
Because I'm actually better at this.
Okay.
Can you aim melee attacks?
I don't see why not.
Again, I will aim a melee attack then, so I can ignore that.
Well, I'll just check.
Yeah, I know it's not the same as a called shot, because a called shot makes it harder, so you can't call an area.
1 second, I'm just checking.
Cool. Well.
Yes, that's right. That's right. So yeah, you can aim as a weapon skill. Yeah.
Cool. I had 100 points left after swapping that 2-weapon fighting for ambidextrous, so I've just taken a level and a flex.
Okay.
Yep.
Good stuff.
I'm just gonna save the character sheet actually. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I will go with the shock maul then. So this is just +10 from being a basic attack, isn't it?
It's with the -10 from your aversion.
And then +10 from the aim. So it just works out as 50.
Yep.
Cool. 50-50 chance. I got 4.
4. Okay.
So 4 degrees of success? No, 3. Yeah, 4 degrees of success.
But again, with a basic attack, your degrees of
Oh, yeah,
success
sorry.
aren't doing
Forgot
anything.
about that.
Okay. Can you tell me your damage, please? Oh, and sorry, what did you roll? 4.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's on the head.
It is.
It's 7 points of damage, and it has no pen, but it is shocking. I am not sure what that does.
How many points of damage? Sorry.
7
7. Okay.
points of shocking damage. I will quickly look that up. Shocking quality, page 149. Shocking weapons can incapacitate their opponents with a powerful surge of energy. A target that takes at least 1 point of damage from a shocking weapon must make a challenging +0 toughness test. If he fails, he suffers 1 level of fatigue and is stunned for a number of rounds equal to half his degrees of failure, rounding up.
He succeeded.
Cool.
Right, you bash the thing's head, and it reels somewhat, but it remains upright and looking dangerous. Vladimir.
It's sword time, baby.
Oh yeah.
Suffer not the heretic to live! I got 19. So what was I going for?
You were going for a standard attack, so you've definitely hit.
It's your weapon skill +10, but you hit, so...
So 44, so 2 degrees success.
Okay, and can you roll damage for me?
So if it's just a sword, it'll be 1d10 plus your strength bonus.
Plus my strength bonus, so it was 10 plus 3, so 13. And then that's Righteous Fury, is it not?
Yep.
Yeah, it is, yep.
And I confirm 7.
Right.
And a further 7 damage. Jesus Christ.
So it's 17 plus your strength bonus then.
Suffer not the heretic to live.
Excellent. This thing is definitely dead. It only had like 4 points in health left.
You just cut that thing into pieces.
Yeah, your home economics teacher would be proud of the ribbons that you just created out of this mutant. You chop its right arm off and then skewer it a few times before it realizes it's dead, and the mutant collapses. Yeah. Excellent. Your victory is short-lived, I'm afraid, acolytes. Outside, you can hear the mongoloid roars of mutants, and it's fairly terrifying. If you imagine sort of Zulu drums, like, and being surrounded by them, it's very much a kind of you're up shit creek.
Much as I'd like to kill these things all day, I think we better get out of here.
I'm liking how you think.
Descent is still screaming and weeping on the floor. He appears inconsolable and is not well. And vomits on your shoes.
Fat man.
Sorry, say again, Vladimir.
Come on, fat man. We can make whole arm for you. Be very cool. Much like in Straken. He's a great guardsman. Whole hand made of iron. You'll not have problem. Come on feet.
He stands up and screams, "We're all dead!" And tucks his auto pistol under his chin and pulls the trigger.
Oh, that's depressing.
Can you all roll fear again for me, please?
Oh, 0, 0, 0.
That's 100.
That's 100, dude.
Is it?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's like
good.
a botch.
that's like the worst roll.
How did I do it? Go on. Bring it,
Christ,
bring it on.
I got bang on.
I passed.
Bring it on.
Just no degrees expected.
Okay, sorry. So everyone passed apart from Vladimir. Is that correct?
So he's probably got at least like 6 degrees of failure.
What's your willpower, please, Vladimir?
40.
40. Okay, that's 6 degrees of failure. Can you roll a D100 for me? So do the same roll again, please.
81.
81. Right. So you get 141.
Oh.
The character, right, get this, guys. The character crumples to the ground. Please roll a D5, please.
4.
As in you rolled a 4 on a D10, or you got a 4?
I rolled a 7.
Right, okay. So you crumple to the ground for 4 rounds, begin sobbing, babbling, and tearing at your own flesh. You can do nothing else. Even after you return to your senses, you are a complete mess and suffer a -20 penalty on all tests until the end of the encounter.
So he just collapses to the ground and starts sobbing and ripping at himself.
He begins weeping into his mustache, I believe.
Jesus fucking Christ, man! It's just a psycho.
His brain came out of face and it was in my mustache.
I'm gonna jam him full of stim and give him an iHo stick.
Okay, all right.
Okay,
I'm afraid I'm going to quote. He can do nothing else.
I'm gonna climb out of the climb through the hole and try and look at a way to get out of where we are.
Okay, there is a huge rent in the side of the in what was the side of the freighter, which is now the roof.
I suppose we should probably technically check if the pilots are alive, but
no, you can see that was one of the things you saw earlier. They were being eaten by the mutants.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Their door must have popped open somehow with the.
Okay, so are the mutants within sight, or can I just hear them going?
You can just hear them outside of this thin metal defense.
Hey, you guys.
Okay, so as I'm looking through the barrier, what can I see exactly?
Sorry. I took it as you'd gone through the barrier, and you were just kind of looking around. There are no more mutants inside this ship.
Okay.
So what you can see is now a cargo hold filled with 2 dead pilots, 3 dead mutants, and then back through the hold you can see your compatriots and what happened in there. So there's loads of boxes everywhere, strewn all over the place. There's a massive sort of 8-foot hole in the side of the ship, which is now the roof of the ship, and there is an obvious way up, which is, you know how they kind of lash things down is through those kind of metal loops in the floor. They are now on the walls, so you could quite easily climb up those and get up to where the hole is.
Okay. Is it a check to do that, or is it pretty essentially automatic?
It's automatic. This is as long as you're not trying to do it under pressure or anything. It's
okay. I climb up and peek out of the top of the ship.
Okay. It's quite sort of foggy, obviously, with that kind of that kind of vaguely blue toxic fog that I've mentioned previously. There are what feel like thousands of shapes moving around in that fog, and you can hear a few of them kind of like doing stuff to the ship. It's possible that they're just kind of like beating their hands or whatever their substitutes for hands are on the side of the ship. The ones that entered were probably the smartest of this group.
Okay, I am going to clamber back down into the ship. Is he still crying, by the way? How long is 4 rounds?
That would have taken that would have taken 2 rounds. What you just did.
Okay, so I climb back down again, and is it possible to clamber back onto the roof with one of the pilot's corpses?
No, that due to the nature of your climbing, you're not going up a ladder. It's quite difficult climbing.
Could we pass one up if one of us climbed up first?
That would probably be possible. Yeah, I mean, one of you would have to have a very good, like, basically stood on top and then reaching down rather than just kind of like perching on the edge.
Mm-hmm.
But you could definitely figure out some way of getting a body up there. It'd be easier with three of you, but one of you is still crying.
Okay. Are any of the body parts kind of dismembered from the pilots? Or
Well, there's bits of the hand still kind of strewn all over the place.
Yeah, it's not really big enough.
There's entrails.
We've got a sword and a body here.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I use my spear to basically slice off the arm of one of the mutants.
That is a messy job, mate. Okay. All right.
This is a monofilament spear. Remember, it kind of cuts through.
Yeah. It's just the idea of someone using the point of a spear to gradually slice through something. But
the blade of the spear. It's a big spear.
Is it more like a sort of like a
hunting spear, essentially?
All right. Okay. Well, yeah. It's possible.
Still a point.
It's all right. It is possible because he's got a monofilament edge to the side of his spear.
Oh, okay.
So we will allow this. And which part of this mutant are you chopping off?
The arm.
The arm. Okay. Oh, actually, sorry. There's at least one arm still flopping around because Vladimir cut off one arm.
Okay, I'll pick up the arm then.
Yep. Okay.
And climb back up to the top, and fling it as far as I can, in what looks like the direction. So can we see the city?
No, not from this angle. No. Yeah. Once you're below the fog, you can't see shit for about 40 feet.
So I know roughly what direction we were going in. So so let's say, which direction was the city? Let's say north, south, east, west, something like that.
I'm afraid that because you're unconscious, you've lost all all orientation.
Okay, can I make like an awareness check to kind of look at what's going to be the easiest way out of where we are? I know it's foggy, but kind of try and peer through.
Right. So from your vantage point, you can see that quite fortunately the shuttle has landed on what looks like a spit of land which sticks out above, which has banks that lead down into a toxic lake. So you didn't fall in the goo.
Okay.
So you're not sinking. This bit of land leads into the fog. So that's, if you were to run, that is probably your only way. There are lots of mutants.
In that direction or in all directions?
In all directions. Some of them are frolicking in the toxic waste.
Are
Okay.
we attacking each other?
To a certain degree. Some of them are fighting over the arm you just threw.
Yeah. Okay. Romulus, get that bastard. What's the sorry? You're not Russian, are you? It's
Vladimir.
Vostroyan.
Yeah. Get that bastard Vostroyan up here.
This is actually the turn that you begin to come to your senses, Vladimir.
I just, I think deep down, I've always been sad because of being given to the Imperial Guard. Is everybody dead?
No.
You snivelling little shitbag, get the fuck up here.
I'm going to push him towards the ropes.
Okay. So you all climb up, I assume.
Yeah.
And you are stood on the metal. What was the side is now the roof. And look out and survey all you see. As I've previously described, it is a toxic landscape of fog and danger. Around you, the mutants are massing, and some are seeming to get more kind of agency and are moving towards you now that you're stood up at the top.
Let's move quickly. I kind of move onto the kind of path that we can kind of get onto off the ship.
Okay. So you jump down fairly easily. It's not. It's basically the same as trying to get up the side of the ship that you just did. So
yeah.
Yes, you jump down onto this bit of land. There are at least 12 mutants between you and the limit of your vision.
Okay, how far away are they?
The first one's probably about 9 feet, 10 feet.
Okay.
It was nibbling on a bit of the arm that it managed to get.
Okay. I ready an action to attack the first one that comes at me,
Okay.
and kind of stand guarding the space for the other two to jump in behind me,
All right.
or whatever they're going to do.
Romulus, you next, please.
Yeah, I'm gonna get Nick down first. Sorry, Vladimir down first.
He is now capable of taking his own actions, I believe. He just takes minus 20.
I'm worried about him, so I'm making sure he goes first. I want to be able to keep my eye on him.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, that fear roll that you did, Nick, is 2 off the worst thing you could have rolled. So 171 plus would have been unconscious for hours.
Oh god.
Yeah, we would have left you there, man. That would have been a bullet in the back of the head for mercy, and then running.
Vladimir, you are helped down by Romulus. What is your action, please?
I'm gonna point my las pistol.
You going to ready an action as well?
I'm gonna ready a las pistol shot.
Okay, it sways uncertainly in front of your vision.
Yep.
You're not entirely sure what's going on, but you know it terrifies you. Right. And Romulus.
Yeah, I'll follow him down.
You're going to jump down. I'm afraid you don't have time to ready an action.
Yeah, that's fine.
But you look up as the mutant horde begins encroaching. There is there's a disturbance in the fog, like the swirls of the fog, at the limits of your vision. You're seeing disturbance, and it begins to get quite erratic. It looks kind of like a tornado, and then out of the fog bursts the Valkyrie, which was accompanying you, and it issues forth extremely heavy fire. It just lays down serious fire from its heavy bolters on the sides. It's got sort of pintle-mounted bolters which guardsmen are operating. If you kind of imagine a Vietnam helicopter.
Yeah.
Very much like that. So it strafes the area, and the mutants in front of you pretty much are dismembered. And it does one big sweep, and then on the second sweep it slows down, and it's like a halo, not a halo, a velo jet. So it lowers itself down, and it hovers about 2 feet off the ground. And one of the gunners beckons to you, and he's really vicious about it, but you can't hear what he's saying over the sound of the engines.
I run towards it, I guess.
Okay. Can you all make agility checks for me, please?
I'm taking back this sofa is not easy to roll on.
With no modifier. Although I'm minus 20, aren't I?
Yeah, you are.
You are, I'm afraid.
Basic success.
So 2 degrees of failure.
1 degree of success.
Okay. The three of you begin running towards the your only means of escape. Keller, you arrive first and hop the 2 feet fairly easily. There's 2 guardsmen on each bolter, and then there's a third guardsman in the hold. Now he's just kind of unloading his las rifle, giving you covering fire.
I grin nastily at him. Did you have to come and spoil the fun?
Get out of the way, civilian! Romulus, you arrive next, and you kind of do a vault up onto it rather than jumping up.
Yeah.
And sort of do a bit of a roll and then come to a stop at the feet of the guardsman, looking up at him in his firing position. He looks very young. And finally, Vladimir, you begin running towards the craft. Can you roll a d5 for me, please, for your insanity points?
Oh dear.
1.
1. Okay, take 1 insanity point. The visions which drove you to sobbing before mean that as you're running, you can't quite get your feet straight, and everything's still swaying horribly in front of you, and you trip, and there's a big long moment as you come crashing down into the filth on the ground, which is partially made up of irradiated soil and bits of mutant. The guardsman, the spare guardsman, seeing this, leaps from the Valkyrie and runs to you and stands over you, giving you serious covering fire now. Like, these things are screaming and running up the bank, and he's laying down some serious suppression. The heavy bolters are clacking away in the background as well.
Badass.
Can you give me another check, please, Vladimir?
Agility.
Agility. Tell you what, you give me whatever characteristic you would use to get the fuck out of this scenario.
It'd have to be, well, I'd say willpower to see whether or not I lay there and let myself die.
Okay.
4 degrees of failure.
4 degrees of failure.
Oh wait,
Oh my
I'm still
God.
minus 20. I'm still minus 20, right?
So yeah, 6 degrees.
6 degrees of failure.
I think we're going to give you a balance out for the minus 20 for the guardsman. That's epic guardsman stood above you. So it's only 4 degrees of failure.
I'm going to get a drink.
Right. Okay.
Did you prep a second one there?
No.
Vladimir, I'm going to need a second fear check from you, please.
Hang on, it's willpower minus 20, isn't it?
No, the guardsman is giving you a buff of plus 20.
So that's 1 degree of success.
1 degree of success. Okay. You have not increased your state of fear. However, you are kind of like crawling in a kind of haphazard fashion towards the Valkyrie without really knowing what you're doing.
Okay, can I jump down and help him up?
Yes, if you believe your character would do that, then yes.
Yeah, because she's going to have fucking a good time laughing at him about this.
Okay, alright. So you jump down as well. The guardsman gives a few steps of ground and continues to be stood above the prone Vladimir. Keller, you jump down and I assume ready in action to attack the first one that comes near? Or do you help him
No,
up?
I'm literally helping him up.
Okay. Right. Did you leave your spear behind? Did you sort of drop your spear and then...
No, it's just in one hand.
Just one hand. Okay. Vladimir, can you get a strength check to get up, please?
Minus 20.
With the assist, it's only minus 10.
Okay. Plus 10 is 4 degrees of failure.
God. He flops in your arms, Keller. Can you give me a strength check, please, to
Fuck me.
pick this guy up?
Basic
Oh,
pass.
so dead.
A basic pass.
Yeah.
You have to really use your core to lift this guy up because he is flopping something awful. And you begin dragging him towards the Valkyrie. When you reach the Valkyrie, you tip him inside, where he sort of rolls around moaning a bit, and step up. Looking back, you see the guardsman that you left behind. A mutant scrabbles up the bank behind him, and he turns at just the right time, brings the gun around, and pulls the trigger, and there is an audible click as he runs out of ammo.
No.
And this mutant tears him apart. The Valkyrie is already moving though, because guardsmen are expendable.
I sit on Vladimir's sobbing body.
Right, so you're just trying to keep him from...
No, I'm just literally sitting on him.
Right, Vladimir, you now return to your senses because it is the end of the encounter.
And I'm kind of tapping him gently on the cheek. So, I didn't realise they raised fucking cowards on Bustra. You should have seen yourself. I thought you'd fucking pissed yourself. Oh, maybe you did. Oh, there's that smell. Oh.
Please get up with me.
I stand up.
Everyone all right back there? My name is Sergeant Cutter.
I'm going to throw him a salute.
Yeah, he is piloting, so he can't actually see you, but like he's speaking over like the internal speakers.
Any idea who shot a fucking rocket at us, Sarge?
It's these mutants of the waste.
They have rocket launchers?
I didn't think so, but clearly.
From what I see, most of them couldn't hold their own hands. Well, a fucking rocket launcher.
I speak as I say, sir. It's not a sir as in like a. Sergeants are very good at saying sir.
It's not
So,
a sir.
It's a sir in a sort of private citizen, gonna give you a bit of respect, rather than sir superior or condescending sir.
I understand. Fair enough. You know more than me, I'm sure. How far away are we from Primus Hive?
10 minutes.
Oh, do forgive my blubbering mess of a colleague, by the way.
I've seen many men go down to these mutants. Some were crying when it happened. Some stood firm as the guardsmen should.
Well, your boy did well.
He did. And he will be remembered.
That's good. We'll sing a song about it.
Right, so as the Valkyrie screams through the fog at full speed, which is something like ridiculous, like 1,000 kilometers per hour, it looks up. Keller fills the air with a fairly sort of
Boisterous.
coarse, I think, coarse song about the guardsman's death.
I'm making most of it as I go along. It doesn't rhyme. I can't really sing.
Just saying words in a non-melodic way.
There's a lot of added detail, which seems to include things about polar winds.
I'm going to take a dram from my hip flask.
Oh, right, okay. And without further ado, the Valkyrie finally pulls into a docking area, a port area. Huge Imperial numbers above this massive area denote it as Port 37. You can, on your approach, you saw nothing more of Primus than this opening. The fog is that dense, and the Valkyrie sets down. There are various other ships that have set down. Some of them are guards. Some of them. So you've got some more Valkyries there. A lot more of them are cargo ships. Like shuttles, like the one you were on. All of the Valkyries, including the one you're on, look like they've seen some heavy fire recently. And the guardsmen point you towards customs and head off to their bunks and to debrief.
Okay.
I'd like to dust off my long red coat. I'm assuming I look dreadful.
I'm still chuckling every single time I look at you.
Okay, so sorry, you're getting rid of your coat.
No, I'm just trying to clean it up a bit.
Oh right, you're dusting it off, right? Okay, I get you. Yeah. It's you're to be fair, you've all just been in a fairly serious crash and then a fight. None of you are looking smart. You're all covered in like mutant blood and dirt and your own blood.
We'll blend in pretty well in a hive.
Yeah. It's not a problem, but like I wouldn't worry about looking smart.
Okay, I kind of saunter up toward. Is customs like right next to where we are, or is it?
Yeah, pretty much. You've just got to walk across the hangar, basically. There's two lines. Each of them leads to a single guardsman who is processing applicants.
Okay, there's a line. I will look at the other two. And says, I guess we're queuing, man.
Let me handle this.
Try not to cry.
Good evening. I am Captain Vladimir Molotov of the Imperial Guard. I'm going to flash in my guard credentials.
The guard stands up and salutes. Sa!
At ease, soldier.
He-
Commands and I must make great haste through here.
Of course, sir. However, I will need to process your papers, I'm afraid.
That is quite all right. I am glad to see a guardsman sticking to protocol.
Of course, there are ways around this, sir.
Is that so? Do go on.
There is a gelt price for speeding up one's application.
Can I sidle over at this point, understanding how things work on a hive world, and just slip him a few Imperials?
You slam a few gelts down, and he looks down and raises an eyebrow, and then nods again, as if to encourage you to put more down.
No, bribery is a very serious offense.
I apologise, Captain.
Just don't ever do it. Wink. You're not supposed to say wink, are you? I'm new to this.
I'll put down a few more.
The guardsman scrapes them across the table and puts them in his pouch. It was good to see you, citizens. I barely remember you.
Very good. Carry on.
I'm gonna kind of raise my eyebrows at him. I don't remember you though.
He gives you a leer, and I bet you will, sweet thing. Name's Lazarus.
I slap his arse on the way out.
He gives a satisfying little ooh.
Do you call him Sweet Cheeks as well?
Shut up, sugar tit.
And you exit the port. You are now in the sort of semi-legal market which accompanies any port. It's a huge, like a huge area with sort of vaulted ceilings which stretch up quite high, and it's all kind of like rockcrete and steel. It's very imperial in design, but remember this is a hive, so every level has to be able to support the level above it.
Yeah.
And is in turn supported by it beneath it. So they're all fairly ugly, but all fairly good at supporting it themselves.
Until you get right to the top.
Until you get right to the top, then they get pretty.
When you break the cloud layer.
Yeah, pretty much. But you are nowhere near the cloud layer at this point. And around you are, as I say, semi-legit businesses operating immediately outside the port. There are some guard officers strolling through. Some arbiters are also patrolling. None of them are looking particularly like they're actually paying attention to what's going on. If you imagine the sides of the room are sort of columns which turn into struts, and it's like a rib cage is what I'm trying to describe, I think.
Yeah.
Each of these kind of like big areas are like rib cages of steel and rockcrete, with ladders leading up to the top and a hatch. At the far side, you can see that the market has an entranceway which leads out into the hive proper.
Walk like you're in a bad mood. Don't care who you get in the way of, and like you got somewhere to be.
Okay.
Do we know where this apartment is?
Yes, you do. I did write it down. I've foolishly lost the bit of paper. It's 3 numbers. But it's definitely above where you are now. I will get back to you on that one.
Okay. Well, as long as we know in character where it is.
Yes, you do. You do know where in character it is.
I kind of lean into Romulus. So, city boy, where's this apartment?
Up. Come on. And I'll lead the way.
Okay.
Does it always smell so bad in these places? Ugh.
Smells like home.
Hey, buddies, get out of my way. I've got a place to be, and I don't care.
Excellent. As you move through, You see all manner of things that you've never seen before in terms of wares to be sold. There are sort of spices and all kinds of smells, and some quite unpleasant. Remember, but you push through, and then something quite strange. Can I get awareness checks from all of you, please?
Standard or any modifiers?
Just standard. So this is awareness, not perception, guys.
Yeah,
So
if you don't have the skill, you get minus 20, right?
yeah, that is correct.
Okay. Thankfully, I have the skill, but you still roll against your perception.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's 3 degrees of failure.
No modifiers or anything, Ben.
No.
Just a standard fail for me.
Standard fail, and the arbiters.
2 degrees of failure.
Oh wow, guys. Okay.
It's hard to
right.
see things.
It is hard to see things, I'm afraid. This wasn't particularly obvious anyway, so don't feel like you've missed out much. No, I'm joking. Right. From probably about 30 feet away, you hear the sounds of a problem, basically. People are starting to move away rapidly, and there is a cut-off scream. And then through the crowd, now that your attention is directed that way, you see that 3 or 4 people that were dressed in fairly sort of dowdy, shabby long coats have disregarded them, disrobed, sorry, and they are now wearing sort of ill-sewn harlequin-like jumpsuits, and they begin to perform acrobatic tricks very, very badly, whilst shouting one word over and over again, which is revealed. And people begin to really start running away now. One of these people that's kind of dancing around throws something into the crowd, not in your direction, in the opposite direction, and it explodes. Body parts shower, and then the rest of them all scream revealed at once and throw their remaining, what you now assume to be frag grenades. You can each have one action before these grenades land.
Dive for cover. I'm going
Yeah.
to make an acrobatics check to try and land on my feet or knees, and but still try and dive for cover.
Okay.
Can I make like an athletics check to try and like knock over a stall or something to cover behind?
You are near. Do you remember I told you about the rib cage starting as like a column turning into a strut?
Yes.
You're near
some of those pillars.
Yeah, you're near the feet of those pillars, which kind of stick out a bit.
Okay, I'll just duck behind one of them then.
Okay.
You kind of roll around it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. And
Yeah,
Vladimir.
When you press the take cover button in a third-person shooter, do you
Exactly, that kind of thing. Vladimir.
I want to try and get behind a pillar. I know how grenades work.
Yep. And Keller, you are doing.
So I'm like tumbling and flipping into some kind of the best cover that was within range.
The cover that they are both going for is definitely the best cover.
Okay, that then.
Give it a roll.
Yeah, I already rolled. 2 degrees of success.
2 degrees of success. Okay. You arrive first, then I think, and peek out as the other two come behind the cover, and then withdraw your head as the grenades land. There is a huge renting explosion, and the shockwave, fortunately, passes by you because you are shielded by the foot of this pillar. Lots of people and parts of people shower past. Can I get another fear check from you all, please?
Fucking hell.
So many fear checks.
I'm gonna go so mad.
Oh,
My willpower
shit.
is only 26.
Hey, I succeed!
Hey,
Hey Ben,
did you fail?
I get 96,
Oh
Oh.
shit!
which is 7
That
degrees.
would be
7 degrees of failure.
I just got a basic failure.
Okay, so can you both roll d5s for your insanity, please?
Oh, God.
1.
Yeah, 1 for me as well.
Nice stuff, guys. Right, Gary, can you roll d100 for me, please?
No, sorry, mine was actually 2.
Okay.
Yeah, D100. 8.
8 and you it was a basic failure, right?
Yes. So
The
no
yeah.
degrees or anything.
The character is badly startled. He can only take a single half action during his next turn, but afterwards he acts normally. Chris, I believe you got 7 degrees of failure.
Yeah.
Okay, can you roll a D100 for me, please?
Oh no.
28.
28
Sorry,
turns that into
sorry,
98.
Oh,
Which is panic grips you. You must flee the source of the fear, if able, as fast as you can, and if prevented from
she doesn't stop flipping.
and if prevented from doing so, can only take half actions and is at a -20 penalty to all tests. Once away from the danger, you must successfully snap out of it to regain control. Snap out of it is a separate check, which we'll come into later.
Okay.
So if you act normally to try and get away, but if you can't get away, you're fucked.
Oh, now they're gonna laugh at me.
Yep. Okay. So we'll go with let's go structured time again, guys. Go initiative for me, please.
I was almost rolling a D100 then for some reason. 12.
Sorry, 12 Romulus
Yeah, man, I'm rolling well on initiative at least.
and Vladimir.
4.
5.
Okay, Romulus. You are at the. So basically, there's bits of people all around you. You are quite shaken.
Yeah.
And you were shielded from the blast by the foot of the pillar. As I described previously, there are kind of like ladders. Yeah, they're more like rungs, really.
Yeah.
Which go along the side of the column up to a hatch in the roof, which is quite high. Or you could attempt to just step out and see what's going on.
Seems as though I only have this half action. In my head, I was walking along with my helmet under my arm, so I'm going to use my half action to put my helmet on.
Okay. All right. So next turn, you act normally.
Yeah.
Keller.
I run.
Okay.
So I don't know how exactly. So it is a full action to run, which I assume is what I'm doing. I move 8 squares, I assume.
Okay.
I assume maybe that's 8 5-foot squares, something like that.
I think that is probably the towards the closest exit, which is definitely the hatch which you can see.
Okay, going that way.
So you begin climbing.
Okay, I start climbing. So I'm assuming not running then.
With extremely fearful kind of as your hands grip at the rungs and drag you up with ferocious speed.
Okay.
And finally, Vladimir.
I have to pop round the corner and try and shoot one of these Harlequin-looking bastards.
Okay, you go around the corner and you see that they are also dead.
Oh.
Everything is dead. There is death everywhere. There are some people at the fringes who were only kind of mildly maimed, or stunned, but pretty much anything within a 50-foot radius of where these people were has been piecemealed.
So what you're saying is blood for the blood god.
It didn't sound like it, but you can interpret it however you wish.
Not with Harlequin costumes. Right. So there are people around me who are stunned and not deaded.
Yeah.
Is this what we're saying?
Yeah, but they're kind of like, if you imagine the aftermath of a IED or something.
Yeah. I'm going to get to one who looks fairly not in bits, if that's possible.
Yeah.
And try and bring them around.
They're kind of like, I'm going to take it as granted that civilians are not capable of passing the fear checks that you guys are struggling with. So this civilian is sobbing.
Who are these Harlequins? Do you know?
I'm afraid she's completely intractable.
Civilians. Have a quick glance around and hope that there's no one else in.
There doesn't appear to be any immediate leads, basically.
Okay.
And above you, you see that Keller is already halfway up the ladder.
Ay, boy. Up we go.
And by no immediate leads, I mean that the people that threw the grenades you can't tell where they are because there's bits of them everywhere.
Yeah, there's just checkers and blood.
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool. I'll head for the ladder, I suppose.
Okay, you walk back towards the ladder. Back around to Romulus.
Yeah, I'll peek around.
You see the same, the aftermath of a terrorist attack.
And then when I see Vladimir heading back, I'll begin climbing after Keller.
Actually, you do see one more thing. At the far end, there is a klaxon finally goes off as the kind of smoke reaches the sensors. And the far door, which led out into the hive proper, slams down. It's like like a top-down door.
Yeah.
And
I want to get out of here before we get noticed.
Yeah. You begin climbing. Right. So you're all on the ladder. Keller, you reach the top first, and it's one of those hatches that requires you to spin a wheel.
I spin that fucking wheel. Do I need to make a strength test?
No, I think your fear is ample motivation.
There's plenty of adrenaline pumping through those gigantic woman muscles.
That was disturbingly sensual, Gary. Keller, you burst out into what appears to be a sort of like what passes for an alleyway in a hive. And catch a moment to regain your breath. Can you attempt to snap out of it, please?
Is this willpower again?
He makes a willpower test, yes.
I fail by 1.
Oh.
If you fail, the effect continues, and you can try and snap out of it again in the following turn. So you continue to run away. You run to the mouth of the alleyway. By this point, you are getting quite breathless, both with your kind of with the exertion and fear. You two reach the top and bring yourselves out, and you are now stood in the same alleyway. And does the last one up close the hatch behind or not?
Vladimir?
That would be Vladimir.
Yeah. No, I started climbing before you did.
Okay.
You headed back towards the thing, but I started climbing.
In that case, in character probably wouldn't.
Okay. Right, you see that Keller has sprinted away. Keller, can you check again, please?
Oh, I pass. Yes, you bastard.
You successfully snap out of it. You are no longer in a state of shock. Right, and from the mouth of the alley, you can see a group of 3 men in conversation. Romulus and Vladimir, are you moving up to Keller?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The men, you don't even really need to roll for this. They believe that they are not being overheard. Sorry, what was that?
That was just me making a kind of positive noise.
Oh, right, okay. You eavesdrop on their conversation, and rather oddly, you overhear basically that they are acolytes.
Okay.
They are discussing the Inquisitor's orders, and the one that appears to be in charge, who stands slightly taller than the other ones, who are slightly hunched over, commands them to cleanse Market and Port 37 with fire. And when asked if this is what the Inquisitor demands, he replies, "It is what the Dark Prince would want." And the 3 of them move off. You hear them calling in orders to the inquisitorial stormtroopers. You get a reasonable look at the one that was giving the orders. He's he's sort of like an Aryan-looking kind of guy, reasonably handsome, but with a cruel twist to his mouth. He's also wearing robes of purple.
Okay.
Okay. Your actions. You were on the level above from where you were.
Okay. Oh, sorry, 1 second. I'll just have a look at something. Okay, I'm gonna make it seem as though I wasn't running like a little piss baby, if I can, and make a kind of keep quiet gesture and kind of wave my hand down and start to follow them.
Right.
So I can make a stealth check if you like.
Yeah. Can I get reactions from the other two first, please? What's
I'm not following her.
And Vladimir?
Romulus is stopped in front of me. I suppose he's going to bump into Romulus.
Okay,
Why have you
Romulus.
stopped?
Sorry.
Why have you stopped?
I'm going to try and put a hand on Keller just to stop her.
Keller?
I kind of glare at him.
Just shake my head.
So you feel me tense up a bit, but then stop going around the corner.
Why is no one talking?
Are those three guys out of easy earshot now?
Oh, yeah.
Why shouldn't I follow them?
We need to find out what's going on here first. Get the lay of the land, figure out what's happening. If they're the Inquisition, just following them isn't going to achieve anything, or maybe get us found.
I have to side with Keller here. I mean, Dark Prince is not a fitting nickname for Inquisitor, you know?
I just think they seemed very...
Can all of you roll Law Heresy for me, please? If you have it.
Don't have it.
No.
Nope.
No one has Law Heresy. Okay.
I have a lot of Underworld.
What forbidden laws do people have?
None.
None.
Okay, alright, continue.
Look, they seemed like they were being suspicious, and cleansing a whole fucking port and market with fire because some idiots decided to blow themselves up doesn't exactly seem like the right way to go.
Just failing all through a hive. I don't care about what happens down here.
It seems oddly specific, though, to burn just one place. My experience of Inquisitor is to just call exterminatus and go home for a cup of tea.
Well, it's too fucking late now, isn't it? They've gone. Right. Ugh.
Let's get to his apartment. Go over and do the job we're here for.
Right. Lead the way, then, I suppose.
Okay. Are you going?
Yep. I'll lead the way.
Okay. Right. As a hive worlder, you're aware that there's always a way to get around in these especially large hives. To this end, typically there is something the equivalent of an underground, although it's referred to as the hive rail. And this thing can go sideways and up and down. I mean, so it's got vertical and lateral movement. And you, using your kind of hive worlder sense, move towards where you think there probably will be a stop. And sure enough, you find one, and it takes a matter of seconds for one of the tubes to arrive, and you take your places and strap in. Strapping in is a necessity. The seats are fixed, but you need to strap in basically. So these things kind of crawl around the hive like caterpillars, and can drop you off pretty much wherever you want to go. The map is inscrutable and has been graffitied over So you look over to the next map down. You know, like in the underground when you can see the map above you.
Mm-hmm.
But that one is bust, so you need to look a bit further down. And you figure out that it's going to take you some time to get to where you're going. Probably about half an hour. This hive is huge, considering how fast these things go.
Yep.
And this tube shoots off, stopping every few minutes to let passengers on and off. About 10 minutes into your journey, the tube stops, but the doors do not open. And through the reinforced glass, you can see the platform, and the announcer's voice comes through the intercom. Due to unforeseen clerical issues, we must now progress beyond this station. And on the platform, you see a single man surrounded by people backing away from him. He is gripping his head, and the people closest to him are sort of like dropping to the ground, clearly stone dead. And the people at the edges of the crowd begin to scream and tear at themselves, and attempt to throw themselves at the tube that you're on, including the door that you came through. And these kind of like completely fear-crazed people begin batting at the doors, which are never going to move to human pressure. And you see one man, his fingernails are literally coming off by how hard he is trying to get through this glass, and blood starts running down, and then his head eventually pops.
Oy, oy.
What the fuck is happening on this Emperor-forsaken world?
The Tyrant Star.
The
What?
the tube continues on to the next station.
That's from the intro of Nico, by the way. The document that Ben sent us.
No, I heard it was in character.
Yeah, but in character you knew about that.
Yeah, but he's an idiot.
Okay. A massive idiot.
I thought you picked up on that.
Okay, I'm gonna be kind. I'm not gonna give you another fear or corruption check on that one, I don't think. But no. Actually, we're gonna give you a corruption check. Let's go with a corruption check.
I think we should have to take a corruption check every time we use public transport.
I fail. 1 degree failure.
What do we roll corruption against?
It is still willpower, I believe.
Yeah.
I'm so bad at willpower. 3 degrees of failure.
So I'm just checking
That's
here.
3 degrees of
Actually,
success.
you guys do
Success.
not roll corruption.
Oh.
I don't believe you roll against the malignancies and mutations,
Do we just gain corruption points?
but
then,
you
is it
do not roll against corruption. You just gain it,
Okay, cool.
depending on the type of corruption. So I'm going to roll a d5 for each of you in turn. 4 for the first person on my list here, so that's Keller.
No.
5 for Romulus. And 1 for Vladimir.
If I don't die in combat, I'm going to turn into a raving maniac mutant.
So just to let you know what happens there, for every 10 corruption points, you take a malignancy test, which can have a fairly negative effect on you. When you
So I've
reach,
got 5.
yeah, so you are all now tainted. 0 is clean, 1 is tainted. So all of you are now tainted. So on your malignancy test, you will get +0, so it'll be a normal test, challenging test. And if you fail it, you will get a malignancy, which is it's like a worst fear result. So they go the least bad one is reduce your agility by 1d10.
What, forever?
Yeah, permanently.
And we have to make that now?
No.
No.
Every 10 corruption points that you get.
Okay.
We test against that.
Right.
Corruption points are particularly bad. So you can incur these by coming across. These are the instances: sorcery. So this is kind of like unsanctioned psychers acting. Rending the veil, which is intrusions from the warp. Warp shock. So if you fail a fear test against a warp entity, you can get corruption points. Blasphemous law. Dark deeds. Dark deeds aren't sort of you doing bad shit. That's if you do something that a demon wants you to do.
Yeah.
Profane relics, and vile persuasion. So they've all got their own thing that they do, but just being exposed to minor sorceries, like you just were with this unsanctioned psyker, gives you 1d5 corruption points. A larger one would give you 1d10.
Jesus.
So when you reach 10, you'll have to test on malignancy, and then when you reach 30, 31, you'll get your first mutation test. And that is if you actually have like a real kind of permanent physical symbol of your corruption simply by being exposed through no fault of your own, theoretically.
Okay.
Or a big old fat Nurgle belly.
Something like that, yeah. Wings is one of them actually, which is kind of strange.
Oh fuck yeah, I want wings.
Yeah, I mean you will be hunted as a mutant wherever you go, but wings, yeah.
Yeah, fucking hell, yeah.
Or nuts and a horn.
If all three of us get mutations, we should turn this into a Dark Crusade campaign.
And without further ado, you arrive at your stop and disembark. And it's not far. You've got sort of like there's lots of gangways. You're quite high up in the hive now. You're obviously nowhere near the noble levels, but you're kind of in like the sort of upper middle class level of the hive. So this isn't an area that you're particularly used to, Romulus. Most of your experience is in the underhive or the lower hive.
Actually, there's backstory stuff there. I've been like right up to the top and then fallen.
Ah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Then, you recognise it as being upper middle class, but at the same time, it's a bit shit because nothing is looked after. Like lights are flickering and stuff like that, and there's like trash. It's just generally not a pleasant area, but it's definitely more pleasant than where you just were, where there was a terrorist explosion. And you walk along the various gangways, and you eventually reach the correct apartment, which is 318-1715. And use who has the key? Sorry, there's one key. Who would have taken the key?
Probably me, because I know how they work.
Okay, Romulus, you have that key. Mark it down on your character sheet for future reference. Open the door. And inside there is a fairly sort of clean, not often lived in series of rooms. Think Spartan, think ascetic. This is a military man's not so often abode.
Yeah.
There's no articles of like personal memorabilia knocking around. It's just sort of white walls, cream stuff, steel tables, that kind of thing. When you first enter and the door closes behind you, it's a fairly kind of like hefty security door, because obviously they get a lot of crime, as you know, Romulus, in a hive. It thunks closed behind you all, and you can see that rather than having like a little peephole, rather than having one of those, each door has its own little camera which points directly down and slightly to the side, so it can see who's at the door, without intruding on being able to see other people's doors. Well, no, you can kind of see the person across from you's door, but not all the way down the corridor, is my point. So you couldn't use it to surveil the whole corridor, but you could look around a little bit. Inside, there's 3 rooms for sort of what you assume would be security guards, which are empty. So they're just fairly sort of simple soldiers' billets. And there is one sort of master bedroom, which you assume was Captain Ulfric Salfar's room. In his room, there is a large store of ammunition and antique las pistols.
Oh, shit, boy, look at these babies.
His sort of communication device, telephone type thing, which is in his room, has a speed dial. There is nothing in the spaces 2 through 10, but number 1 is simply dock.
Okay. Does it say what dock number or just dock?
It's just dock, so it's a button and then dock.
Okay.
I'm assuming doc as in D-O-C-K.
No, DOC.
Oh, DLC, okay, sorry.
As in, what's up, doc?
Yeah.
Could be D-O-K, might be an orc.
Romulus. So you've all been kind of like spreading around, and Romulus, your kind of policeman's eye is roving around, and you take in something that just requires a second look, and it's the viewer screen from the peephole. And you walk over to it, and you see that someone is entering the door across from you. It is a man in purple robes. Vladimir, you notice that Romulus is staring at that screen.
What do you see?
One of those purple road fellas.
Well, chance is a fine thing. What's he doing?
He's gone in the apartment over the way.
Very fine indeed. The Emperor's blessings are clearly upon us. Kill, come here.
Oh, it's that bastard. Told you I should have fucking followed him.
We did not need to. He has fallen into our trap of honey.
Ah. Can he see us?
No. So you are inside the apartment looking at the viewer screen for the peephole.
Okay.
And he's kind of fumbling for a key, gets his key, puts it in the door, opens it, steps in. It's very much like businessman returns from work. It's not like secretive cultist goes through a secret door.
Okay.
It's kind of like, that was a long day at the office, time to go home. But from a man wearing purple robes.
And
Okay.
it doesn't appear to be the Inquisitor.
No, he appears to be the head acolyte that you saw previously. You know, the tall blonde man?
Yes. Cool. Romulus,
Correct.
you are an officer of the law. What do you suggest?
So he's come into this apartment, sorry.
No,
The apartment opposite.
Okay.
the apartment opposite.
As far as we're aware, no laws have been broken. Besides, I'm not an officer of the law anymore. But
You have the head.
maybe you should follow Keller's hunch.
Why here? Seems a bit of a coincidence.
He wasn't being secretive. If he was staking us out, he'd not have been so obvious. That was just a man coming home.
Ah, but perhaps he is performing a bluff that is doubled. He is not wanting us to know that the stakes are out, and he is watching.
We need to know more about this situation before we do anything. Little tip
Perhaps we
for you.
could.
You want to find
Yeah.
a lay of the land in the neighborhood? Find the nearest bar.
Ah, you are correct. Firewater is best solution to all of life problems.
Well, I think first we should have something to eat and get ourselves ready and cleaned up a little bit.
The lot of you go and change, or sort of clean up as best you can. You go and have a drink, you have something to eat, and you discuss your options. What options do you have?
I think we should find a bar and talk to some locals.
Mm-mm. Sorry, you are at that bar. This is us.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So clean up, going to the bar. What do you drink, boys?
Anything.
If they have it, we'll throw in firewater. If not, whatever passes for strong drink on the shithole of a planet.
2 sets of refined gasoline coming up. I go
Excellent.
over to the bar and order some drinks.
Yes, you receive the drinks and the food that you require. The sort of the locals in this upper middle class area are not sort of particularly greasy hive members. They're they're sort of middle class people on a date or whatever. So it's not really the kind of place where you can kind of lean across the bar and put the screw on somebody.
There's always one person you can talk to in a bar about that side. I'm gonna go talk to the barkeep.
Excellent.
Okay, so are you coming with me to the bar, as it were?
Yeah.
Okay. So what does the barkeep look like?
Short, balding woman.
Okay.
With a sort of nervous twitch in her left eye. She is deft with her hands though, and quickly serves you the drinks and puts the order in for the food.
Give how much? Obviously, I know it's not obvious on the terms of money, but how much money do we have, as it were?
You have enough for. Remember, you were sent here for at least a month's worth of investigation, so you have a large amount of money for bribes and living expenses.
It's
Okay,
possibly
so-
worth mentioning that I'm highborn, so I would be quite wealthy anyway.
Okay, so I pay for the food, but then quite not particularly subtly take out a relatively high denomination coin, something equivalent to maybe about 10 times again the price of the food and the drinks.
Yep.
And kind of tap it on the bar in front of her.
She looks down at it and reaches out to take it.
I was wondering if you could help us out a little bit. We're new in town and just need a little bit of insight on local goings on.
Well, I could tell you about the politics of the upper-lower hive, I suppose, but there isn't much going on apart from the fact that everything's going to shit.
Well, we noticed that there was some fucking unbelievable stuff on the tube. Fuck, Emperor's ballsack. That was not pretty.
No,
We're kind of wondering what the fuck we've let ourselves in for. There's a bit of stuff like that been going on for a while.
for the last 2 years, yeah.
What? Anybody around here gone mad and started blowing other people up, or?
Not this far up the hive, no. It mostly happens lower down. The further down you get, the worse it gets.
Well, like mutations. Down in lower hives, you see mutants all the time.
Ugh. Horrible. Ugh. So there's nothing you can tell us about.
People
So
up
this
here
hap-
keep their heads down.
Have you heard anything about a gang which go around dressed like harlequins?
She looks at you nonplussed. What is a harlequin?
Sorry, do we know what harlequins are in terms of these? Are these like Eldar harlequins?
No.
Or are these...
My terminology earlier was more referring to jesters.
I would say
Okay.
that you probably don't know what a harlequin is.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Like,
Okay.
not even an Eldar one, just like a jester isn't really something that would
I suppose, yeah.
happen on a feral
Yeah.
world.
Okay, stupid stripy clothing.
A clown.
Some, clowns. Yeah, clowns. They're like clowns.
As I say, this area is, whilst bad things have happened up here, it's usually because the lower hivers have come up. I've never heard of any clowns or like strange antics. There have been explosions and the guard have sealed off a few areas, but that's about it.
Which areas in particular? Need to know what to avoid. You see.
Yeah, not in this sector. There's been a few over to the west, maybe about hour and a half, 2 hours away. People tend to work within their sphere up here. There's been very little going on.
You wouldn't happen to know block numbers, would you? I tap the coin again, again unsubtly on the bar.
To be honest, friend, it's happened all over the hive. Block numbers wouldn't help you.
The closest one, then.
Well then, this one, a year and a half ago. Every area of the hive has had its own little problems. You won't be able to escape it. So you're new to the hive. Whereabouts do you come from?
That's a long story.
And what business have you on the hive?
Okay, no, I'm leaning in at this point.
Okay. What business have you on the hive?
Well, I kind of bare my arm, and it's you guys might not have seen this actually. It's literally covered with scars.
You don't look like you belong in this area of town.
Well, rich boy here. I glance back at the captain. He needs a little bit of protection sometimes. He tends to get himself into trouble. Gambling.
So you're a bodyguard?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hence why I want to know if he fancies going on a late night gambling session, which habs I shouldn't take him to.
You shouldn't go anywhere. This is a hive. Have you not been on a hive before or something?
Do I look like I've been on a hive before?
Then you are not going to be a very useful bodyguard.
Well, that's why I'm here. Ignore her. She's just muscle. I'm sorry we bothered you. Just try to cover the angles.
I drop the coin on the bar and walk away.
Look. You look like a hiver, but not from around here, obviously. This planet, never mind this hive, is in trouble. If you ask me, anyway. Anywhere you go, you will need to look after your client. It isn't about which area is more dangerous. The lower down you go, regardless of sector, the more dangerous it gets. And at the top, well, it's a different kind of danger, if you ask me.
I know that.
So my advice to you is, sit tight, keep your man locked in his apartment, and pick up a paycheck for as long as it takes before this entire world burns.
Don't tell the boss, but that's the plan.
Yeah, she scoops up the coin that your companion left and turns away.
Emperor protect. And I'll go back to the table.
What has been taking you so long with my drink?
Information.
Locals, pissy. What do you expect? They don't like a hive. Why live in a fucking hive if you don't like a hive? There's plenty of nice fucking worlds out there with all the ice you could fucking want.
Calm down, Kelly.
I agree.
Do I look like I've been to a hive? Fucking.
Look, Killer, you might be top of the food chain out on the ice, but this is my hunting ground. If we want to find some information, looks like we're heading downtown.
Do you think there's someone I'll be able to punch there?
Probably.
Hold on.
Maybe more mutants if you're lucky.
They do make very enjoyable squelching noises when they die.
This draws the session to a close. So I shall see you next week at 8 for the continuation of the Darkest Heresy, the Descent of Malfi. Night.